Now welcome to another edition of News from Naboo with Thor's Lightning Takes. And let's get right to the news.
In terms of news, we've gotten some interesting pieces of information of late. Interesting, like, updates on Taika Waititi doing his Taika Waititi movie. That
You mean his Star Wars
so
movie?
Looking forward to, yeah.
Is that still a thing? Did somebody ask him again? And he's like, I'm working on the script. It's going to be done in 2042.
Well, what he said was, at the moment, I'm still developing something with them. Like me, they have a lot of projects going on. I think they're going to push it until I finish these other projects. I've got about 4 other scripts I'm trying to finish. My thing is, I want to take my time with that and get it right. I don't want to rush this movie.
I assume the them is a Lucasfilm.
Yes, them is Lucasfilm.
So he's got 4 other projects, and then he will take his time and do Star Wars right, because nothing else will get in the way in those next 4 years.
Well, it's funny because I believe I've also read that he commented somewhere that his movie isn't like the next movie anyway, so he doesn't feel rushed.
Well, obviously it's not, because if it was, we would be waiting another decade for Star Wars at the least, it seems like.
With his pace, yes.
Yes.
I mean, he's got so much on his plate between all the work he's been doing in the past for Marvel, as well as all the independent and individual type projects he's been doing.
Yeah, I mean, he's talking about doing 4 projects. That's got to take years just in itself, right?
But when he's talking about the MCU, he's kind of backburnered working on the MCU a little bit, because everyone assumed he'd be doing the next Thor movie, and
Yeah.
he said that in terms of Marvel, we're in an open relationship. If they want to see other people, I'm happy for that. I'd still get back into bed with them one day.
That's a interesting and colorful way to put it.
Yeah.
Talking about Thor, I'm assuming there.
I assume
Because
so as
there's
well.
rumors about Thor 5 circulating, and I think Helmsworth said he's for it if there's a story to be told.
Right, because he actually has come down a bit on Love and Thunder as well.
He did, yeah.
He did. I mean, he doesn't usually do that at all. Like, tries to stay very optimistic. He's generally that kind of guy.
Yeah, seems like a...
But even he
positive
was
guy.
like, yeah, Thor 4 did some stuff that maybe wasn't great.
Yeah, it was like, did we really need to do this one? And that would be his hesitancy in coming back, because you don't want to, I guess, do another Love and Thunder.
No.
Don't know too many
we don't
people
need
who-
another Love and Thunder.
Yeah, I don't know too many people who really like that movie. I'm sure there are, and that's fine, but most people kind of look at that one as like, what were you thinking and why?
They just made some really weird choices in general with that movie. I don't get it.
Yes, Thor became just a total joke.
He's a buffoon.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And he was not. He was the fish out of water, and that worked really, really well. And then they were like, oh my God, Chris Helmsworth is like the most charismatic man on the planet, so let's lean into the humor side.
But you don't have to lean into the humor side to make good.
No, absolutely not.
I feel like Marvel forgot that. You don't have to be funny to be good.
Well, you don't have to be like overtly funny all the time. Like, levity is fine, but like when we have these movies where it's like total serious, the world is going to blow up, and then 2 seconds later someone's making a joke, or like they're dancing to music, like happened in Love and Thunder, or it's just like you have this, she has cancer, but it's funny because
It's not.
we need a joke here.
They just made some really poor choices. It's funny because Loki was really well received, and there was definitely humor in it, but the levity in that show was
It's
phenomenal.
well, yeah, it was a lot of like with Mobius. Mobius is just, Owen Wilson just kind of naturally has that vibe, I guess, to him, where he's just kind of a humorous guy, and
Ouroboros, and there was
Ouroboros too. You're right. Yeah,
some funny moments in that show.
Yeah, but it wasn't like slapstick in your face funny. It was funny because it was funny in the story itself, without trying to be funny necessarily. If that makes any sense at all.
Just a little.
Yeah, it's like Star Wars humor. Like, there's a difference between like overt Star Wars humor and like Han Solo calling him Goldenrod, and that it's humorous in story, right?
Yes, in story it's good.
Yeah.
What else is interesting is we just recently got a tweet from James Mangold. Now, if you remember, he is making the Dawn of the Jedi era movie.
We'll see. Yeah.
We'll see.
I have my just like Taika Waititi, where I just don't think it's ever going to happen. I'm starting to think that. Hello, I have a cat on my lap now. I'm starting to think that the James Mangold movie may never happen after Indiana Jones.
Speaking of Indiana Jones, this is what he was talking about, because he is the one who was the man behind Dial of Destiny.
He was the Mangold Rod, Golden Rod.
And on Twitter, he was responding to somebody else, and he said, because somebody else was asking him kind of, did George Lucas get involved at all in the making of Dial of Destiny? And he says, on the subject of George, one must acknowledge that he created the entirety original and unique concept of the character of Indiana Jones from nothing. Indy is a profound extension of George's own personality. Part maverick, part theoretician, part adventurer, part idealist, part wise-ass, part academic, and 100% unstoppable. Secondly, George also created the unique tone combining classic Golden Age adventure films he loved with modern filmmaking, tech, and humor. In terms of Dial of Destiny, George read our early scripts and offered notes and guidance, as well as watching the cut as it progressed. He is a brilliant man, and I am grateful that this film gave me the chance to collaborate with so many of my heroes.
You know, a question comes to my mind. Did they listen to his advice and his suggestions?
I feel like you can't ask somebody to give you suggestions and then disregard all of it.
Well, Disney did do this thing of buying George Lucas's scripts for the sequels and then crumpled them up and threw them in the garbage and had implied that they were going to use them. Even Iger acknowledges maybe they went about it the wrong way and gave him the wrong impression. Yeah.
But let's look at it this way, too. Let's say Mangold's being 100% on the level.
He probably
Let's say
right?
that George did look at the early scripts and he offered notes. Let's say they took those notes. Let's say George watched those cuts as they progressed and was loving it.
Yeah. So you want to blame George
still,
Lucas?
No, I'm just saying, would you still, if, let's say he 100% was behind Dial of Destiny, that he greenlit it and loved it, would you still want him making Star Wars?
You mean if he was just doing, like, George gave him all this advice and he took the advice and that's why Dial of Destiny
is the way it is?
Would I want him doing Star Wars?
Would you still want him doing Star Wars, or would you just think maybe his time has passed as a filmmaker, as a writer?
You're talking about Lucas, or
yeah,
I don't even know who we're talking about. Like, I think Mangold has made some good movies. Like, this is a guy who made Logan, one of the best.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
It's funny because in that movie he did exactly 100% everything right to honor an aging hero.
Yes.
Not even just one aging hero, but also Patrick Stewart.
Yeah, Professor X.
Yeah, Professor X.
Yeah.
So he knows how to do it. So, and I don't like to talk anything bad about George Lucas. I mean, praise the creator, as
we can question
would say.
Lucas. Look, I mean, Lucas is not above reproach, right? He's a mortal man. And though I'm a huge fan of his, I won't say that he's perfect. I've certainly
in a speculative
criticized
sense,
some of his work.
Would you want him at the helm of Star Wars if, let's say, Dial of Destiny was almost 100% his ideas and he made the edits that made it the way it was? Would you still want him running Star Wars?
I think yes.
Okay.
I mean, it's George Lucas. I would just for the sake of getting more George Lucas Star Wars, even if it turned out to be crap, I would still be like, well, I always want to know what his thoughts on Star Wars are.
Right, because you want to know what his story, where it would have led.
Yeah,
but I get speculative.
No, I still get your question. I get what you're saying. Like if George Lucas had made Dial of Destiny, and mind you, he made Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, which a lot of he was there for that. So, and a lot of people, I don't think it's the worst movie ever. I don't love it.
But Dial of Destiny was better than it.
I guess I don't even know. I haven't really thought about that.
I think it was better, than it.
But yes, my point is I'll take more George Lucas Star Wars, even if it's garbage, just because I always want to know what his thoughts and vision is. But if it was terrible, would I still want it? I'm not. That there's that tough.
Well, I like to put the tough questions out there for you. It's interesting then.
Yeah, but I think I'd always take it. But if he's just not. If he just doesn't have it anymore, I guess not too at the same time. I mean, he's, no disrespect intended at all, but he's late 70s. He's not a young man anymore.
All right, let's move into another topic. Something else that I found was interesting.
Yeah.
The Game Awards. We have the nominees have been announced. Game Awards will take place on the 7th of December. It is one of those things you can open and vote on. And
Jedi Survivor Game of the Year?
Jedi Survivor did get 2 nominations.
Okay.
Not Game of the Year. It did get nominated.
Insert Anakin angry meme. Okay.
It got nominated for
outrageous, unfair.
Best Performance. Cameron Monaghan did get nominated for his role. He's going against, Final Fantasy. We got Idris Elba from Cyberpunk 2077, Alan Wake 2, Asterion from Baldur's Gate.
Of course.
And we got Spider-Man 2 right there. I love
It's a tough crowd.
It is a tough crowd.
I don't like his odds.
I don't know how you
never tell me the odds though, I guess.
It's rough. It's rough, I'll say
that. He did a great job, but I'm sorry.
That's a tough crowd.
Yeah. That's rough.
Then the other nomination they got was for Best Action/Adventure Game. Again, they're going against Alan Wake 2, Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, and Legends of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom.
Well, I think we know who's going to pull that off. I'd be surprised if Zelda does. Zelda always just wins.
Zelda's actually got nominated in a bunch of categories.
Yeah, it's Zelda, which they're making a movie, a live-action movie. I don't know how I feel about that.
I'm that weird person who thinks Resident Evil 4 shouldn't be in there because it's a remake of Resident Evil 4, so...
I don't disagree with you entirely there.
I don't know. I don't think its chances of winning against it in the rest of the field are high anyhow. As for Game of the Year, in case people were interested in knowing what the roster of games is there, we've got Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, on the list somehow, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
Is the Resident Evil 4 remake that good? I remember I played it originally with my brother. We loved it, but...
what I find incredibly interesting is I've looked through every category you can vote on.
Yep.
How did Hogwarts Legacy not make a single category? This game was revolutionary. This game was phenomenal. This game sold so many copies, and it didn't get in a single category? The design on that game is fantastic.
Seems a little strange.
Yeah.
I can imagine there may be some reasons for that. The J.K. Rowling hatred.
But J.K. Rowling did not make this game.
No,
They're
she did
snubbing
not.
a studio who spent years in their lives and devoted passion to this, and they just snubbed them, and it makes me sad.
Oh, it makes me sad too that we always have to put the...
Then we put the politics above the
project? Yep. That could be a lot of things we could say about...
Oh my goodness. If you had merch and stuff, I'd be like making a shirt for you that said like, politics above the project. Bad.
I'm sure that would sell dozens.
Dozens. You might sell one.
Yeah, I was going to say not even dozens.
I was actually really sad that I didn't see Hogwarts Legacy not for a single award.
No, that feels... I mean, I watched you play the hell out of that game, and you loved it, and I've heard other people who loved it, so that feels a little strange. I mean, there's some good... The
competition is steep.
There's good competition, don't get me wrong.
But I think instead of Resident Evil 4, we could have put Hogwarts Legacy on the list.
I think that's fair, considering it's a remake. Mm-hmm. I love Resident Evil 4, though, so...
I mean, I can't say anything against the Super Mario Brothers game. I didn't play this one.
We want to get that and try that. I do love the Super Mario Brothers games. The kid in me who remembers playing that first one way
Baldur's Gate definitely deserves to be on all the lists it's on.
No, that's an incredible game,
yeah. I was just very sad that not a single iota of voting's going to Hogwarts. Yeah. But Game Awards are going on the 7th. We probably won't watch them. We're just going to find out what the results afterwards for funsies. See if Cameron Monaghan walked away with an award.
I hope he does, but I don't like your odds.
Jedi Outlaws is actually on the list too, it's nominated for most anticipated game.
I saw that.
Yeah, so good luck to it.
Yeah, not that means.
Why isn't Hunters on that list? I don't know.
Because no one's sure if it's coming out. Otherwise, that would be a lock for most anticipated game of all time. All time. But on a more serious note, that's going to be all we got for you this time. So now it is your turn to take to the comments below and tell us what you think of any and all of today's news or the ramblings that no doubt always ensue. And so let's talk some Star Wars. And until next time, thanks for watching.